What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another video. Thank you so much for the last video that was on my channel about First Descendant. It's actually the second First Descendant video that I put on my channel, and I just got overwhelming views and love and comments and likes. I just want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for how much support that you guys have been giving me thus far. I'm going to continue to make First Descendant content, and hopefully it flows right through the algorithm and you guys, like, comment, and subscribe to the channel and get more out of the channel with the more you put back into the channel. So just let me know if you really like the way it's going so far with First Descendant content, and if you do, I will have conversations with you guys in the comments. I'm very open to conversate with you guys, so just let me know what you guys think and what you guys want to see. Not gonna lie, this is a bit of a long one. Just bear with me here. There's some really good talking points in this one, and if you watch to the entirety, to the end of the video, I really appreciate if you did drop a like and some comments in there, and subscribe if you think I deserve it, if we made really good talking points during this video. But like I said, disclaimer, this is a long one. Maybe have this in the backdrop while you're playing and just listening, and there's not much going on the screen. I am gonna put some stuff on the screen so you won't be too bored, but like I said, we do have some good talking points, and I think it's a good listen. Without any further ado, here's the video. Alright, I got some topics for y'all, right? As you can see, we have the tier list. Sonic co-op is the best. The end?
I'm gonna full tilt. I'm already tilting.
But no, for real. Let's reset this. We have a couple of objectives we have to go through, and then we'll rate all of them at the end here. First, starting with, and I'm gonna go over all the objectives first and how much allotted time we have to talk about it, and then we'll move on no matter what. We'll leave it to the community and the comment section to decide the rest. First, which one of these weapons stack up in the meta?
None. I'm joking.
Next, which mod for which gun and why? Thirdly,
It requires you to actually go shoot the goddamn guns.
yeah, some people are FPS challenged. It is what it is. Some people play this game just to play with the abilities. Third, scout rifles or hand cannons? Each one of those objectives.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Bad.
Yeah, that's.
Each one of those objectives are like 5 to 10 minutes of yappage. Main topic objective. Talk about each gun and each of the gun's weaknesses, if applicable. So, like, if we have the gun unlocked, we can use the gun and feel how the gun is. What are the, in your opinion, the gun's
You can't feel
strengths
my
and
gun.
weaknesses? Huh?
You can't feel my gun.
I can feel whatever I want.
Well,
Hey, yo.
Yeah. Yeah.
He said,
And then-
yeah, I said it. Yeah.
Got to stand on business. And then final objective, we rate all the guns in this beautiful tier list I have created for you guys. So we have 3 side objectives. Which one do you guys want to talk about first? 1, 2, or 3?
Hey, Siri, pick a number from 1 to 3. 2.
Okay, it is which mod for which gun and why. The one that,
You guys can hear me, right?
yeah, the one that Habit said.
Number one
There you
mod
go.
for a gun, hands down, is action for reaction.
100%, hands down. Every mod. Every gun, action and
Every gun.
reaction, and rifled reinforcement.
No, I
Yep.
can concur
I don't-
100%. Those are the two most important. Then fire rate for most.
Okay.
Yep.
That's for all guns. Those two
All
particular
guns.
mods.
3.
That's gonna be.
Which
Well, the
one's
fire
again?
rate up is. It depends on which gun, because you can run the straight fire rate up, which will be 25%, or you can do one of the rare ones based on which weapon. One gives weak point, one gives crit chance, one gives crit damage. It kind of depends on which gun, honestly.
No way that motherfucker just jumped.
I agree with that. With the exception of sniper rifles, you need the crit hit, the weak point. Snipers are the exception to the case. I definitely agree with that. You need to build snipers a little bit differently, but action reaction for your tactical rifles, your machine guns, your assaults,
Everything.
Action reaction and rifle
and
reinforcement for
rifle.
everything. Stack those two, no matter what gun it is.
Why?
max them out.
More firearm attack equals better damage.
Why?
Because it's firearm attack.
Because that's your DPS per second.
The sources of increasing firearm attack are not they're not, you can't find very many of them. So any ways you can increase that's always going to be your first option.
And why
And in
for
any
the other
case,
mod? Which were the
They're
two
both
mods again?
Rifle reinforcement and action and reaction. They're both firearm attack. The only two firearm attack mods in the game, pretty much.
That you can stack.
No, that are actually like there for firearm attack. All the other ones have like passive. All the ones are like +1 or +2, and when you level them up, they still stay +1 or +2. So it's not really a big buff, but action and reactions, I think 45%, and then rifle enforcement is at flat 60. So when you stack them both together, you're getting almost 100%, 100% firearm, extra damage, just for 2 mods.
So rifling reinforcement is 28.5%. Action
bad.
reactions 61%.
And with the exception of rocket launchers, because you need the explosive attack on that for the rifling enforcement, but same thing with rocket launchers, action and
It's still the
reaction.
same thing. It's action, reaction, and rifle.
Okay, so you guys are saying that those two mods are good for all guns in the game, but we're just talking about impact.
Crucial.
We're
Crucial.
talking about impact rounds here, so it's just this, little
Yeah,
sub-niche,
those two. Like
but
it's
it is
that's
good to
that's
hear.
the
It's
impact
still
rounds.
those two.
It's good to hear that those apply for all guns, because maybe some people don't realize that. That's why I asked the why. The question was which mod for which gun and why. We're just talking about impact rounds here, but that is very interesting that those two will give overall.
It's because
good
action
DPS
for reaction is universal.
for all guns.
Yeah.
Literally goes on everything.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's more so because there's not okay. So of course you're gonna have the blue mod for rifling reinforcement. That's gonna be across the board, but they don't have another secondary mod that's a rare or an ultimate that gives a significant amount of firearm attack. Other than this, what is it? Special rounds or high power rounds? I'm sorry. So they need more mods in that department. Like maybe one could increase attack, but then like it gives you it reduces your fire rate more. Like I don't know.
Okay.
To be fair, here's the problem with this discussion as of what mods for what gun and for what this and for what that. If we're going snipe, so if we're going scout rifle and cannons, if we're doing those two, action and reaction and rifle barrel are good for every single weapon in the game. But if we're going specifically for those two, they're critting weapons. They're critting and weak point weapons. So you got to build into crit rate, crit damage, weak point, weak damage. because they are a hand cannon is a precision-esque kind of weapon that requires you to actually hit your shots. Same with the scout for the most part. So you have to just build into crit rate, crit damage, this, that, and the third, because they naturally have
And weak point.
Well, some not necessarily every single one. Some of them are made more so for weak point. Some of them are made more so for crit.
Weak point expansion is a great mod for it.
If you have a scout, any of the scout rifles that are under 25% crit, you aren't building crit on them. You're building weak point.
You have 2 more minutes to talk about this.
That's fair, but what scout rifle do you know that's under 25% crit?
Oh, give me 1 second.
Oh, hold on. Let me.
I'm looking right now. Hold on.
Oh, actually, they're all fucking below. Base is 10%. All of them are base 10%.
Age of Innovation is 7%.
Age of Innovation is 7%. Hero Scar is 10%.
I was using Age of Innovation for a while. I'll tell you, man. I'm not a huge fan.
Sonic Co-op is maybe your crit one, honestly.
20%, yeah. Sonic Co-op is the crit. Because base
Blue
is
Beetle is 25.
Blue Beetle's 25.
Now I don't have Wave of Light yet. So hold on. I know another way I can kick it though. Access info.
What's the other one we're talking about, right quick?
60 seconds left to talk about this.
My advice would literally be go based off your weapon. So go onto the weapon, click details of the weapon, and then look down at the base stat. If the base stat is 20% for crit rate, build in a crit rate and crit damage. If it's low crit rate and you see weak point damage at 2% or whatever it is, the weak point damage at 2%, build in a weak point damage. That's the best way to know how to build into a weapon, is by looking at the base and seeing which one has the higher multiplier.
Yep. I concur.
I also agree. Any more points?
And that's not being taught in the game, and that's one of the biggest things that sucks about the game, is because they don't teach you this. You have to figure it out yourself, or know people that actually, oh well, this and that. So a lot of the times you'll be like, oh my god, I like the Thunder Cage. The Thunder Cage is cool. Blah blah blah. This, that, and the third. Thunder Cage's crit rate is 20%, so it's teetering on the you hit some, you win some, you lose some side. You know what I mean? It's like 25 to 30%. That's a great place to start with your critting.
All right.
20%. It's like you bring that edge.
That is a good segue to our next topic here. I'll just pick this one. Which one of these weapons in this category of impact rounds stack up in the meta? 5 to 10 minutes of Yat.
Say that question again.
Which one of these weapons stack up in the meta? I think you got impact round category.
I think
Scout
you got
rifles. Okay, go for it.
I'm gonna go Scout rifles first, because
not any particular
Handcannons
archetype.
are all.
Not any particular archetype.
But
just
this
what
one,
you see.
Handcannons.
Just what you see in the impact round category in general. I have it listed on the tier list. I have all the weapons.
Yeah.
Out of any of these weapons,
I'm looking at it.
which ones
hold on.
stack up
I'll answer.
in the meta?
I'll answer. Hero Scar, the Age of Innovation, Sonic Co-op. I'm gonna put those as my top 3 using for meta, as well as Nazir's Devotion and Assassin's Edge.
Okay, that's
it. That's all.
That's what
everything
you
else. I would.
Does everybody have
That's
any
it. That's all.
objectives on
I would put. Oh, sorry. And Blue Beetle. Everything else I'd put into the C tier, B tier.
I'm not
Everything
rating
else that I
guns
just
yet.
mentioned.
This is just.
I know, but I'm saying in my personal preference, in terms of where it stacks in the meta, everything I just named is pretty good. Assassin's Edge, I would say, is A. S tier would be Hero Scar, Age of Innovation, and Nazir's Devotion, with Sonic Co-op being another A tier. But everything else is B tier.
Okay, these are meta. Does everybody agree with this? That these are meta?
From whoever's used it and built theirs.
I personally, right? I don't disagree. Meta's a
Subjective term.
yeah, very. Because I mean, I think, like you said, I think each weapon has its place, especially when it comes to scout rifles. Because to me, like I like scout rifles in general as a weapon class, and I've leaned more towards them of what feels better to use to me, not so much what one has better numbers. Because the thing is, numbers in this game are a thing where it's like you can have the highest DPS spreadsheet numbers that you could ever want. But if you're not hitting your shots, then that DPS doesn't matter, right? So I found that, like, I personally, I would, if for my meta, I would have Silly Weeper there. Silly Weeper is a slower shot, but it's a harder hitting shot, and it has less recoil. It gives you the time to be able to line up multiple shots, especially if you're just going to hold left click or hold your trigger button, that you can always aim back in even with a lot of recoil before the next shot goes off. So, like, for instance, with Hero Scar, yeah, I can hold the left click button, I can have a 30 round mag, but if I'm missing 3/4 of the shots, then am I really doing more DPS? So for me, I don't disagree with the Blue Beetle being there or Nazestras. Those two are none. Age of Innovation hits that area where it's in between Heroes and Silly Weeper for me. And then, like, when it comes to Handcannons, honestly, they not being able, like, having to hit left click over and over again for that, and then not having enough fire rate. That makes sense. It's like, I agree with the Assassin's Edge. It feels the best out of all the ones I've used, even over Nazestras.
Assassin's Edge being where meta?
Not meta, but more.
Not really meta.
Maybe. Because it's not bad, but it's not. It requires you to be too close to a Colossi, and to have to. Yeah.
And if
You'd
you're
have
doing
to
that,
really-
I'm putting Sonic Co-op as not really meta, because it does have that crit to it. And honestly, if you have a good amount of fire rate on it and accuracy, you're doing a lot of good hits very consistently without any recoil innately on the gun.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that at all. My biggest thing with Sonic Co-op is the fact that you have to make up for the accuracy. And like with the other scout rifles, you don't have to do that for when you scope in. You just have to stop moving.
Which, if you hit your shots,
No, I don't disagree with you. It's just the fact that I have to run a mod for accuracy on a weapon,
Yeah.
a weapon class that the rest of the weapons don't require it except this one.
does it really require it though? Like, does it really require that you use one or two accuracy, if not just one?
My problem with certain guns, it's okay. It's the easy use factor. When you're coming from Destiny, a scout rifle is supposed to feel like a scout rifle. You know what I mean? If my scout rifle jumps around like I have an auto rifle, I might as well just put on an auto rifle at that point.
Right.
Because it takes away that it's a precision weapon. But if the precision isn't in there, put on an auto rifle.
Right.
Here's my personal thought. Now, although I believe that each and every weapon could be greatly improved if enough pharma and energy activators are put into it to really maximize its potential, I haven't used a lot of these weapons on the list because I am very reliable on Mr. Old Reliable, which is my tamer, because I have invested and I have modded the pharma out of that gun to the point where it's maxed out. I can solo missions. I can do stuff. There's no use. I every now and then I try another gun here and there, and it's like, nah, I instantly go right back to my gun because I've invested the time and the effort to make it where I want to be, that I don't really try anything else with, except for the occasional ultimate weapon that I get recommended to by my friends. So on this list, I can honestly say I've not used a lot of these weapons. Nowhere near to in depth to speak on them. However, I do believe they have the potential to be great if you do plug enough pharma into it to really maximize it.
Okay, what's a pharma? We're talking about First Descendant here.
Crystallization catalyst.
Okay.
Crystallization.
All right, just making
Catalyst.
sure we're on the same page here. So, in your opinion, impact round guns don't negatively affect your loadout or positively affect your loadout because you don't really see them, like you don't really
I can
use
put
them,
my
you see them,
tamer
right?
on I can put my tamer on any character and pretty much be
Give the same
okay.
damage.
Whereas with my impact rounds, I'm more subjective because I use Glay, so it's a little different with my impact round use than most because I use the rocket launcher, right? So I use the Vestigial Origin, best rocket launcher in the game for multiple reasons, fire rate being number one. But I look at impact rounds differently because of that being my main character. So I'm a little biased to that.
Biased. Yeah.
Okay.
That comes
So
down
for
to
all
the
you
same
for
thing.
all you for all you Glay mains, this and I was for the better part a Glay main for all of like 2 weeks until my Lepic took over. But I will attest to that. This video might not be the best of information for a Glay because you're not going to see yourself using anything but an SMG, something fast firing, or the Vestigial Organ. You know what I mean? So it's like that's I understand
Machine
what he
gun
means by
because of the capacity. The
yeah,
tamer's machine gun.
I understand why he's biased there, but for everybody else, this will apply.
I mean, I'm a Glay main. I don't have ultimate Glay yet, but I find myself having to use other weapons, not because of looking for more DPS or fitting a niche. I have to get my mastery level up, right? And if she's my strongest one, I have to find a way to like make it work, whether it's a gun that's meta or not. Like you have to level all the weapons in order to get more mastery. That's like the foundationary gameplay loop that's going on here. So with that being said, like I'm using Smithereens, but I'm like finding like a way to like make Smithereens work for me. Like earlier I was telling you, like I use Electrocute, that stuns him. So if I do miss a pellet, it doesn't matter, because guess what, I have unlimited ammo with fire rate on Smithereens. It's just free as fuck. Like there's really nothing else I need to worry about other than clicking my V again, or the unlimited rounds skill that she has, and then just rinse, wiping, repeating that same gameplay loop over and over again with any gun in the game, because that's Glay and that's what she does. She's a weapon specialist, a vampiric weapon specialist. So you know, she could pick up any weapon and slay out in any meta, I feel like. But if I was a Freyna, right, I'm only gonna use guns that's gonna buff my innate skill ability output. Like that's only gonna like gameplay loop what I need to do over and over again, which is spread poison. And I don't know, maybe if I'm a Freyna, I won't use any impact weapons because I'm not trying to stay still long enough to like look down the scope for a freaking scout rifle or one tap enemies, unless that's really one tapping enemies, you know, with a hand cannon. So with Glay,
So that's what I'm
Glay
saying
can
with
be
the tamer.
ultimately
She's the
biased
first
with
but
all
here's the thing.
guns.
every character.
But here's the thing with Freyna literally only has 2 weapons for you to choose from, either Python or Fallen Hope.
And really,
That's
you're
it.
taking Python out of it too.
Yeah, well, that's sad.
You know what
The thing is, if
you know what I mean? It's
For general
sad.
Yeah,
reliability, You can throw a max out loaded up tamer on any build and they'll be fine. High ammo capacity and max ammo you can hold is 400 to 500 rounds. Each clip usually has 100 to 120 depending on how you built the gun out. So for the amounts of hordes in this game that attack you from all different angles, that is a good crowd clearing weapon that once invested into can literally be put on any character and that gun could carry them through.
But we're sidetracking the point now. We're sidetracking the point now. The point now. That it's hand cannons and scout rifles and where they fit in the meta. They do for some characters and they don't for some.
Okay, so if we were to have to finish this list right here, if we would have to finish this, what's meta and what's not, since that's pretty much what the question was, which one of these weapons stack up in the meta, you know? If we were to finish this, because I don't have Perforator, I don't have Wave of Light, and I don't have Blue Beetle, so...
Immediate execution, I would put in garbage.
Okay, and does everybody agree on this? I haven't used the gun. I hardly use this.
Which one?
Immediate execution.
Yeah, all the other hand cannons you can just throw in the garbage, honestly, except
Have you
Perforator.
used them though?
Yes,
except
I've used every gun.
Okay, except for
Yes.
Perforator.
I've played with every gun.
And
I'll put Perforator in. Not really. Would actually I'll put it in a. Here's the thing. I think your tier list should be meta, and not really, because is like borderline. It's meta
it's
or
neutral.
not really.
It's, yeah, that's what it's for. It's a neutral thing. Like it's in the middle of meta and garbage.
Then I would put Perforator. Not really. I'd put it a tier under. Perforator a tier under meta.
Yeah, because my thing is Perforator isn't. There's only one boss that Perforator would be good on, and she's even too. It would be Dead Bride. Does that mean let's call it what it is? He's the only boss that has enough shield for it to be worth using, and it's so early of a boss that you don't need to use it. I think it'll become relevant later when we get more bosses and they have different sets of mechanics. But it's like the gun itself and the way that it's set up with this unique ability, it's not bad. It's actually quite good. It just needs the right set of circumstances for it to shine.
Okay, let's not harp on each gun now, but let's all agree or disagree on each gun and just place them, because this is not even us rating the guns. This is just for this one question: which one can stack up in the meta just in the impact round list? Because think about it, if this was a tier list, if this was a tier list for all the guns, do you realize how long it would take to make a tier list for this and break down?
Right, but it's not so much. The thing is, if a person doesn't understand what the gun does, especially when it comes to the unique weapons and what they can be used for, then they're gonna think they're trash anyway. And that's not the case for the unique weapons, so they kind of need to be explained a little bit.
Well, no, we can't really explain it, because on a streamer's video, they're gonna say this gun is good and give you hardly any details on why it's good, but you're gonna see a clip of them slaying out with it and it looking good. They did all the breaking down. So what this video is for is just like a soft check on that logic, right? And in a niche that nobody uses, you hardly see anybody use impact rounds. I think out of all the people I've met in this game that played so far, hardly any of them really use impact rounds, right? We're like the only ones that we know that really mess around with impact rounds. So I thought it was a good idea to just pick on this niche of gun, because I don't think a lot of people use a lot of these guns in this category at all. So I want to see where everybody's heads are at right now with it, and
to be fair,
I don't want the video to be like 2 hours long. So,
but a lot of people still use these guns.
I'm sure they do, but then that's why I asked you.
Scout rifles are really, it's one of the next best. You're either running a pulse rifle, which is a tactical rifle, or a scout rifle, because you're conditioned that way. We are conditioned from playing video games to know that scout rifles and pulse rifles or tactical rifles are precision weapons.
Right.
We've been trained that way since the dawn of shooters. they're precision weapons.
Yeah,
Now, mind you,
not
this
Kuro
game
though. Kuro doesn't
this
play
ga-
FPS games, so using him as an example, if I've never played an FPS game before, how do I know that? I don't. I'm just gonna
do you
listen to
think?
a
Hold on,
streamer.
Kuro.
Or-
Kuro, do you think a tactical rifle over an assault rifle? Do you think a tactical rifle would be precision? Because it's a
Common sense
semi-automatic.
would dictate anything
Take-
with a long range
Take
scope would be
any
precision.
real life logic for guns out of this. We're in a game that's completely fictional that has to deal with fictional characters.
But
It
you
doesn't
do
have to
realize
make sense, right?
But majority of the people that play these games are old enough to know what a Glock 42 is and all this. You know what I mean? So it's like a tactical rifle is even in real life, it's a precision weapon. It's a semi-firing weapon, which is made for precision, over a SMG, which is spray and pray, or an auto rifle, which is still spray and pray. A fully auto weapon is not going to be as precise as a semi-auto, and that's just how it's always been. You know what I mean? So I see hand cannons and scouts as precision, but tactical rifles aren't seen as precision in this game for some reason. It's weird. They have no scope. It's
Some have scopes,
them not.
can't
I
use.
agree. The fact that they don't have a scope is weird. Now I'll say that the way that I've approached this, because this really is like the prior shooter that I've played to this. Even I don't consider that. I mean, a quote unquote shooter is fucking. Excuse my language. Overwatch. That was the most recent thing, and that's Overwatch 1 at that. Before that, it was Black Ops 2. But I've played a lot of this game by ear with what feels better, and to me, it's been tactical rifles, shotguns, and some scout rifles, shotguns, and tactical rifles. Those three. The scout rifles should honestly understand they really need some sort of a scope. My personal opinion, but they're the perfect mid-range weapon in this game. And especially like that's a whole nother conversation of weapon class. To give my little 2 cents there.
Okay, so if we were to finish the rest of this, where are the rest of these guns going then?
Well, we told you that hand cannon's going in the garbage.
Okay, rest of the hand cannons are going in the garbage.
Yeah.
No.
Other.
You can call me John Rambo because I love my machine guns.
No other qualms about that, right? Like,
Hold on, Wave of Light. I'm trying to remember.
I mean, if they
that's a scout rifle.
if they figure out a way for you to get like 100 and maybe 100% fire rate on these hand cannons, they might be good, but we ain't there yet.
Well, here's the thing. Half of this list is going to get a whole overhaul
Right. So
on August 1st.
this is why we want to talk about it, because it's going to change the quote unquote meta that you're imposing right now. It's going to change drastically.
Whatever meta changes, I'll paddle
Here's the thing. Here's the thing though. It's still not, because the shit that we're saying meta is just going to be better. You know what I mean? But the shit that we're saying, what is this? Yeah.
Because Kuro just said, I get a good feel out of a gun, and whether it's meta or not, I'm going to use the gun because I like the way it feels. And I think a lot of people feel that way.
I mean,
but we're saying the stuff that we're putting in the tier list. But we're saying the stuff that we're putting in the tier list feels good. And the only drawback from it feeling good is that you have to keep tapping on it. It's aside from scout rifles. Scout rifles, you can lay into it. But that whole list, in terms, if the single shot weapon's getting a change, it's still the one that's in the garbage. It feels like shit. So even if they do make it full firing, it's still gonna feel like shit. You know what I mean? It's just gonna be perfume covered shit.
Okay. Nightmare Hound and Wave of Light are last, and Wave of Light is an ultimate scout rifle, and Nightmare Hound is a blue Scout rifle.
Blue Scout rifles
and-
automatically go in the trash because that's no. You're not gonna go into a. You're not gonna go into a hard mode boss with a blue weapon. That's redundant.
unless they do something where the blue weapons have like maybe they have a higher base firearm attack or some kind of gimmick, which literally that would just make them a unique weapon of some sort or an ultimate weapon of some sort at that rate, and they're kind of useless.
Well, if it does have a roll on it that has increased ammunition, it will inflate the DPS
can't
numbers
roll.
because the more
you
rounds
can't
per
roll any
magazine.
stats on
blues.
blue weapons. They're called commons, if I'm not mistaken, but I'm not. Hold on.
They're called rare, either epics or rares. I think commons are
Comments are
White?
green usually,
common. Yeah,
and
Standard.
there's no like
Standard.
Yeah, there's not many standard or blue, or there's no green grade, so that's just all blues are just like common. Okay.
Yeah, but it's called standard. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the
Where are we putting Wave of Light? I haven't used Wave of Light. I haven't seen it.
I'm gonna put Wave of Light. I'm gonna put Wave of Light in the section
Okay.
for now
Because
it's niche. It's niche.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. Like, I the only way I could see myself using that is on the couple reactor mobs currently that have regen. And even then, no. They need to. If the regen mechanic isn't a bad mechanic in general, I don't think in any form. I think that the way that they're using it currently on Colossi isn't nice. The example being Devourer. It's not great. Like being locked behind Frenzy, like you can't. That makes the weapon useless. Like if it was just like, oh, he regens all the time, but nobody can have a Wave of Light and reduce his regen. That'd be a cool ass mechanic. But anyway, I agree. It goes in.
Yeah, we should put Explorer's Path in the what the fuck is this section because seriously, based off the name alone, what WTF is this?
I'll just humor you. Okay. So now we finally get to ultimately rate the gun. This is not encompassing any metas. This is just the gun in general. Anywhere from S being the best down to F plus being Y. Okay. So let's start out from left going to right. Perforators
I
first.
put Tamer in the S.
Just call out the name.
Perforator.
I'm gonna put that in the A tier.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's 2 for A. Habits. Where you at with this? Nowhere, because he left the chat.
Never used it. Can't really speak on it.
Never used it. Can't speak on it. Okay. Troa.
Same answer.
Okay, so everybody's saying A tier. Everybody that has it is saying A tier. Okay, Wave of Light.
Wave of Light, once again, could be good after the buff.
I can't just have Screw here saying stuff. Come on, where's everybody else?
Yo, you give me a second. We can't be talking over one another. I can do that real quick. I would put Wave of Light currently in C tier, only because it's niche, and the rare weapons fulfill a better role than it. So.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have
Agreed.
this gun. I've never seen anybody use this gun, so I'll just agree with you guys on this. C tier. Assassin's Edge.
A.
For the efficiency of this video, I'm just going to go ahead and state for the record, I haven't used any of these weapons. I'm very specific to the one gun that I used in my kit, and I'm very happy with that gun. I wish you all the best.
So then at this point, you wouldn't even have to answer anything.
Yeah, he's just using the toaster build with Clay and just unlimited toast. That is what it is. That's a niche everybody feels
Um,
pretty easily in this game. Find the easiest one, and then just abuse it. Okay, so
Man, it works. It works.
I think Assassin's Edge is a pretty good gun myself. I use it sometimes. I'm gonna put it in A for myself. If anybody has any qualms, you know, I'll move it either up or down.
No, I say,
Nah,
hey,
I'm go with A for that.
it's a
It
good
treated-
weapon. It's a
treated me
good
well.
weapon. Oh,
Yep.
Okay. By the way, like,
What?
for the record, your portraits move in this, so you can't hide. You have to talk.
Yeah, I can hide.
Sonic,
Watch this. I'll just do it right now.
Sonic co-op.
Sonic co-op.
I'd put it in the B.
That'd be here for me.
Yeah, I'd put it in B.
B. Troa.
Put it in B as well.
Damn, I'm the only biased one. I like this gun. I use this gun all the time. I personally think it's A, but it's a majority here, and I'll put it in B, but I think it's A.
But what is it? What is your reasoning other than you use it? That
Because I
makes
think it's
it
a better
A tier?
feeling scout rifle than most, and I don't like the way Hero Scar shoots, even with the lack of having to put accuracy on it. I just don't like the way it shoots. I like the fire rate of Sonic Co-op. It's literally faster than Hero Scar in my opinion. It's faster feeling. I don't know. Like, it's just up to if you shoot the gun. Like, if you shot the gun before and then compared it to Hero Scar, I like Sonic Co-op. It feels better, like, to shoot. That's just my opinion. I don't know. You just have to shoot the gun. Shoot the gun versus Hero Scar and see which one feels better. I know the numbers are probably in Hero Scar's favor, but that's nothing that you can't work on. If you like a gun, you can make it work. And it's got really good crit on it.
On a quick little random note, the recoil. I don't know if y'all paid attention, but recoil in this game is what's a way to put it? It's consistent.
Predictable.
Yes. Yeah. There we go. Probably something you feel more than like you know, but it's once you know a weapon, you can account for it. But some of them, like for me, for Hero Scar, for instance, even though it's predictable, it's random. Does that make sense? Like for instance, some like Sonic Co-op, for instance. If you once you fix the accuracy of it, it's nice because it's a consistent recoil. Same for Silly Leaper. Consistent recoils are nice, or ones that are easily predictable. But yeah, that still doesn't change my my thoughts on it being B tier. Still B tier.
Okay, Blue Beetles.
You know I'm gonna say S tier.
He's gonna say yes.
So, okay, what are you guys saying?
I'm gonna say fine line between S and A. But I would say
haven't used
yes.
the gun before yet, so I have no place in this
Yeah,
race.
Yeah, I can't say nothing.
But I trust Kuro, so we'll just put it S. Explorer's Path. This gun is a hand cannon.
Yeah.
I didn't hear you.
F tier. Actual dog shit.
And everybody agrees on this.
I'll agree on that. I'll agree on F.
Yeah, I haven't used the gun myself to even have a place in this race either. There's some guns I just stick to just because I know how it feels and it's good, and it's hard to be in hard mode content and trying to discover if guns are good or not. So
My problem with a lot of these guns that they created, and mind you, this is the guns that they have in here. They created these niche situational weapons that are very situational and left the door open for certain weapons to be just damn right essential. You know what I mean? Like Nazir's Devotion or whatever. That's essential. Giving you damage reduction just from hitting a boss, that's essential. That has a perk that's good for every bit of content. Whereas you have other weapons where it's like, oh, well, it stops health regen. Not many fucking ads in this game health regen. Only a few. You know what I mean? And it doesn't work, and it doesn't work on Colossus like Kuro said. So you know what I mean? It's very niche. Why would I pick that over Nazir's or Nazistra's Devotion? Why would I pick that niche gun that is sometimes going to work in a rare instance over one that works 100% of the time for every single weapon? I mean, for every single ad in the game. So it's like, yes, it has its spot, but being a situational gun doesn't have its spot in the meta. You know, if it's situational, it's not meta. Meta defining is something that you need on you at all times. Half these guns that are niche, you don't need on you at all times. The only reason why I was kind of mid on Blue Beetle is because Blue Beetle is good when you fit the criteria of it. But other than that, it's niche if you don't fit the criteria. You know what I mean? If you fit the criteria for Blue Beetle, fucking the best fucking option. Meta as fuck.
Okay. Immediate execution. This is another hand cannon.
Put it in the trash. Put it in the F. Actually, don't even put it on the F. Just take it all the way off the list. Doesn't even deserve to be there.
Silly Weeper.
I want to give it an A tier, but it deserves a B tier.
Yeah, I've never used the gun myself. Like I said, like I haven't been able to branch out since I know which ones are good and which ones are bad based on my feelings of the gun after slaying out a bunch of ads. So you say A tier? Any objections?
No. I said I feel A, but it deserves a B.
Well, you're gonna have to decide on something because each slide only has
as it deserves.
I'll put it on a B. I'll put it on a B. That's weeping.
Yeah, silly weeper.
Yeah, B.
Okay. Moving on. The Age of Innovation.
A to S.
Yeah.
A on base, S on fully built.
Yeah.
Yeah, this gun is pretty solid. I like it a lot. If I were to choose this one over Hero, Scar, or Sonic Co-op, yeah, this would be a solid runner-up. And I like the way it looks. It's a really cool looking gun, and it has a skin.
And the skin. Oh my god,
like,
the skin.
Yeah, this is like one of the only ones that I can say they hit the nail on the proverbial head of, damn, what the heck, this gun is like.
Now
really
we
good.
get why you're so biased, because it has a fucking skin.
No, this is not even a gun I use all the time. I have very low proficiency on it. Actually, I use Sonic Co-op way more than any other gun. Surprisingly enough, when I'm in the middle of a Colossus fight and I need to hit a weak point, I'll go straight to Sonic Co-op. If I didn't have any other gun that was precision to hit with, like if now I have Afterglow, just going off a little bit off topic. If I have a choice now, I'll just go Afterglow every time now, because it's like a lot better at the stability, aiming down the sights, like, and then as soon as you get out of the scope, you go right back in the scope after a roll. It's like really easy to scope right back exactly what you were targeting. I found the same ease in Sonic Co-op, you know. And then if I miss a few shots, it doesn't matter. It's like a machine gun scout rifle, dude. Like, if you miss one, just know that you're gonna hit your next 4, 5, or 6 shots with Sonic Co-op. That's just my opinion. But yeah, I say Age of Innovation is S. It's up there.
Oh shit!
Because
Simo Dash is rated with 5 viewers. Appreciate you for the raid.
Okay, Burning Hound.
Man, I like the way that gun feels. Burning Hound, no, Nightmare Hound. I'm sorry, no, Burning Hound. It can, yeah, throw it away.
Yeah, Burning Hound is
its
the
whole family away.
Handcannon, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I haven't used Burning Hound much. I used it a couple times low level, but then I only did that to supplement getting another gun. You know what I mean? Until I found another gun. I had picked this gun up briefly just to use until I found way better weapons to use. So,
Right.
Nightmare Hound. It's a blue scout rifle. Same way, same thing. Only use it like low level to just get by. I'm gonna put it C tier because it was solid for the time that I was using it.
Yeah, dude, that gun feels good.
So good, and it's just crazy that they made this quality guns. Like, why are these ones blue and then all the rest of the guns are purple? You know what I mean? Like, it's wild. And I think this one has a skin too. Fact check me on this.
Almost all the standard weapons have a skin. Almost.
That throws me off. Like, it's almost like they were like rushing just to fill. Like,
on which weapon?
Nightmare Hound. Like, it has a skin as well.
Yeesh.
It's like it was a great feeling gun, has a skin, and it brought you maybe to like mid campaign. I mean, that's unless you like didn't have any other gun that can replace it, like with DPS, or because you weren't gonna weapon readiness or upgrade any of these guns, right? Like, there would be no point, and people who got up to a high level will tell you that, like, don't waste your materials on these guns. So you were gonna like kind of stick with this gun if you liked it or not, or straight up replace it.
You're talking about heroes?
No, I'm talking about Nightmare Hound.
Nightmare Hound.
Oh yeah, no, that's Dookie water.
Yeah, so we're saying, like, for the average player that are still in low to mid campaign, they're gonna be using this gun, like, until they find something that's way better, that's like instant replays, because they're not gonna waste any mats on like getting the DPS up, right? Like, it's a blue gun, and everybody else is like high end game now, and they're gonna tell you like don't waste your materials, don't waste your money, don't waste your cash, don't waste your Cooper shards. So yeah, I think it's a C. Like, it's just a solid gun, but it just sucks that, you know, these guns in this tier, they have skins, but you're not gonna use them ever again. Like, you're just never gonna see them. So, all right, well, moving on. Hero Scar.
I'm gonna put that in A tier.
A tier?
Same as, I'm gonna put it the same as Age of Innovation. A tier if not built. Like A tier when you're just leveling up and blah blah blah, the feel of the gun, but S tier if it's built. So it's the exact same thing. I'd put it right next to Age of Innovation.
Okay. Guru?
Honestly thinking, like, I want to give it a fucking B just because I'm biased against it, but I know in my soul that it's fucking A tier. Like, if you build it out with reduced recoil, like, yeah, it takes up mod slots, but it would fix the problem that it has.
See, I don't have a problem with the recoil.
It might be a little bit different, like on controller to play that one with the recoil, but like on mouse and keyboard with its recoil, it's gross.
I'll tell you right now, when I started the game, my main weapons were the Magnum A3 assault rifle, the Hero Scar, and then anything for my heavy, because I barely used my heavy.
I personally
Hero Scar and Magnum, that was my go-to, and I kept my same Hero Scar all the way up until level 100 when I deleted it by accident, and then I had to go and purposely farm for another one, because that is
I personally think that Hero Scar is at an A. Because I'm biased. Like, I like Sonic Co-op a lot. Like, but if I were to pick a gun to like go to the next part of content with that's coming out soon, I would go Hero Scar. It doesn't feel good to me, but I know that I could get a lot more out of it based on what mods I have to choose, right? During the end, like where I'm farmer, crystalline catalyzing the gun, I would have a lot better experience finishing up with Hero Scar than Sonic Co-op. I think I would have to really get a niche going for Sonic Co-op for it to work for the next level here, and you just don't have that problem with Hero Scar. But also, there might be a gun, and there is a gun, the Blue Beetle, that we're probably going to ultimately replace Hero Scar with. Yeah, that and this last one that we're gonna talk about here.
But that's gonna be the exact same thing for Age of Devotion.
Yeah, I think honestly, I think the only one that can hold its own that's gonna be separate from you not going to Blue Beetle is gonna be Silly Weeper. Because Silly Weeper is just it's more like it's closer to a sniper rifle than a scout rifle.
An actual scout rifle.
With how slow it is. Yeah.
But it in that same conversation, does it hit hard enough to be justifiably slow? Like,
not at all.
Because there's a mod that makes you shoot even slower.
Not at all. Not at all.
But then they'll bring you more damage. So like, the fact that there's no innateness behind shooting slow and doing damage, right? Some gun games has this logic where the slower firing the gun, meaning the bigger the caliber, which packs more of a punch, right? But is that same logic in this game? Like, can you simply say that the slower the gun, the more fire, like the more ballistic fire it has, you know? Kinetic.
That's how it should be. I don't think that their rates are so. At least from what I've kind of noticed is the fire rate is multiplicative. So if a weapon's base has really high fire rate, once you add fire rate to it, it exponentially increases it. But like when it's a slower weapon, it doesn't give nearly as much. So it's like, but there's not a mod replacement for fire rate that buffs the single hit of a slow weapon high enough, like to offset. So you run into this issue where the weapon's base firearm attack isn't high enough to justify for most people to go to them versus going to a higher fire rate weapon.
Right.
Is that a good explanation?
I mean, don't ask me. Ask the comment section. Neistras? How do we say this gun? Like, I almost want to just get a pronunciation going.
Nezistra's Devotion or Nezistra's Devotion?
Nezistras?
Straight S tier. Straight S tier. If I can put that in God tier above S, I'd put it in God tier.
It deserves above S right now. It's the only source of defense down that you can get for all characters across the board. The only other source of it is I'm sorry, there's two other sources of it. You got Executor as a weapon, but like and then you got Sharon. Okay. It's like it deserves above S tier.
Yeah.
And once you get it fully leveled up, I think, what is it, 30%? Is 30% defense down? Fully leveled?
I'm pretty sure. Hold on. We sure about that?
I believe so.
10% for each additional, or is it 5?
It's I just went from, I'm at 15 now, I believe, and I'm plus
15.
2 on mine. I'm at plus 2 on mine. Let me actually check.
Yeah.
While you're checking, what mods are you running on this? Are we talking about weak point or crit on this gun?
I'm running.
Hold on. So it's 15 per. I'm at plus 2 and I'm minus 20%. and I need 2 more. So would that be 30 or 40?
So you only have 1 block in,
I have 2 blocks in.
and it's at 20.
Yeah.
So it's 5% per.
Okay.
So you're gonna
then
get
30%.
20%. It's gonna be 30%. Yeah.
Yeah, 30%. 30% defense down just by hitting. That's all you have to do is just keep hitting. And then there's also shield regen.
Right.
So if I shoot an enemy because you don't have health and you're running for your life at a boss, if I shoot you, you're getting your shield back. That's why I'm saying it's S tier. Like it can be, it's like a Lumina basically from Destiny. If I shoot you, I can heal you. Or I can just freaking debuff the boss. Pick your poison. You know what I mean? Like that's
Like honestly, the best thing to do with it would be like if you're running around with it, or you go to res somebody. As soon as you res them, you shoot them.
Yep. Or the other thing, if you know my Lepic's going into the gun battle, you shouldn't even have your other fucking weapon out. You should have that thing going and just keep tapping the boss while I'm in my super. Just keep popping the boss when I'm in my ult, because you're giving him defensive down while I'm ulting. So I'm nuking him for 10 times more than I would be able to, because his defense is down 30%.
Okay. We in there. We have the tier list going.
I would still move Hero Scar to S tier. I'm salty that you guys are biased.
Super
We're all
salty.
biased
to our own.
No,
weapons
because
here.
biased
here's the
against
thing, because Age of Innovation, I said A tier until fully built, then it goes to S. And then because I said Hero Scar and Age of Innovation are literally one and the same to me. And you guys put the Age of Innovation in S tier.
Well, what is the
Bias-
comment
bias
section
is a
thing?
hell of a
We'll
bitch.
leave that for the comment section to
We'll leave that for the
to-
comment
to
section.
really hash
Comments,
out.
the comment section is gonna know I am right, and we're gonna have to redo that list and put some respect on Hero Scar's name,
Bias.
because that's the first scout rifle you motherfuckers got from Kingston, the very first fucking one. Put some respect on his name.
All right, so ultimate end all be all scout rifles or hand cannons.
Before that, you had asked how we built our under Zestras.
Oh yeah.
You know, okay, so how I built mine is I built mine more so as I am building mine as a support for my impact rounds. So anytime I go to pick up impact rounds, I swap to mine as Zestras. I have impact round compulsive, which increases max impact rounds by 60%, and expand impact magazine, which is like another, when it's maxed out, I think it's like 45% maybe. Other than that, I'm running better weapon weight so I can change from it faster. I'm running increased fire rate on it for weak point hits, and other than that, it's action and reaction. Increase the firearm attack of it. Other than that, it'll be putting more weapon change speed on it, leveling up better weapon weight so I get more defense from it when I do swap from it, and then in getting as much crit and crit damage as I can.
Right. Okay. I agree with you. I think all those mods apply for the use of the gun itself. I haven't used the gun for its ultimate ability. I didn't know that you can shoot people to get shield. I didn't know that. I didn't know that was a thing.
To give them shield.
To give them shield. Yeah, I didn't know that. So now that makes me want to use it even more. But honestly, I don't have a shield, so I wouldn't need to get shot by this.
It doesn't give you a shield. It gives somebody else a shield.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
What I mean?
If somebody didn't know I wasn't running a shield build, some people don't pay attention to the right side of their screen. They don't have objective awareness like that.
Motherfuckers know when Glaive don't have a shield. The game's been out that long. So if you're doing hard mode, here's the thing. If you're doing hard mode content, you know the game already.
Well, I could argue with that, and if you have PTSD, what happened to us like not even 2 hours ago, can you safely say that again? Because
Yeah.
no, you can't. No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
You're smoking coke right now.
No,
And you know
hold
it.
on. Here's the thing. I'm saying I can because at the end of the day, if you can be that brain rotted to go from regular all the way up to Frostwalker and Obstructor and hard mode and not know the difference in characters, uninstall the game because something is wrong with you.
Wow, that's like 85% of the player base might.
No,
might be.
but it's not. It's not because the difference is people know the characters. They just don't know how to play the characters. I will know. Here's the thing. I'll know when there's a Glay on my team. I know, oh, she's gonna rocket spam, or oh, she's gonna do a tamer. I can already expect the unexpected. You know what I mean? And then you'll get the casual, oh, well, running a massacre build. That's cool. Having general knowledge to know what these characters do, they know what to do. It's 90% of the player base don't know how to play the kit. That's the problem.
Sounds like
it's not that they don't know. It's not that they don't know. It's they do not know how to play the kit. It's like I have a bunny that ad clears, but when I get into a boss phase, I'm not going to ad clear or I'm not going to run to the boss. It's like, okay, well, what are you doing? Using my tamer. Timmy! Like, fuck, man. It's not about not knowing the characters. It's about knowing how to play, and that's two totally different things at that point.
I can see where Screw's coming from. I
understand where Screw's
disagree
coming
with that,
from, but you got to understand that not everything's going to be apparent to people unless they watch a video or watch a video like this, watch a streamer's video and get a good explanation. Even reading it is probably not good enough indicator of what's good and what's not, unless you feel it for yourself, test it for yourself, and figure out what's good or not for yourself. So, I mean, at the end of the day, they're gonna be listening to people who actually do the raids, do the, the missions and stuff.
But if people could look and watch things and then replicate them, what the other person did, then we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
Do me a favor,
they don't do
Unseen,
that.
pause it for a second. That was a lit video.
Yeah.
The only thing that I will tell everybody,
Closing arguments now.
closing arguments, meta is subjective. The game did just come out, and my meta may not be your meta because you have yours built differently. That's the thing that this game really. Do not listen to streamers and content creators to 100% learn the game. The game, you have to learn it for your own self. We can give you tips and pointers to what we like, but you go out and do your own research. And that's how you get better at the game, by doing your own research, by finding things that work for you. Because at the end of the day, there's so many big streamers that are like, the meta to get past all these bosses is Glay. 3 Glays rocket spamming with 1 Ajax. That messed up so many people's gameplay because they're like, I need to farm for Glay, I need to farm for Glay. And then out pops me on my Lepic, nuking bosses, whereas a Glay literally only broke a half quarter of the shield. And I'm just like, yeah, I just did 44 million damage in 9 seconds. You're like, damn, I only did 12 and it's been 5 minutes. You know what I mean? So it's like, play the game, find your own style of play, because it's all about the builds. It's all about the builds, how you form your builds, how you create your builds. There's so many people that play Sharon wrong, and Kuro has a Sharon. There's so many people that play Freyna wrong, and Freyna's friggin' great. It all depends on your build. Learn the game. Crunch the numbers. Go learn the difference between multiplicative and additive. These are all things that'll make you a better player. But just going blindly based off of our meta, it's going to be different from your meta, because we know what we're doing. And we're not saying that you don't know what you're doing. but you may know something we don't know, and then that makes one of our guns that we said shit be the best gun in the game. You know what I mean? That's why meta is so subjective, and it's literally just play at your own pace, get a general instinct, and then learn from there.
I agree. If you made it this far, thanks for watching. I really appreciate all your patronage and your patience with these videos. If you really like the content, just consider liking, leaving a comment, and subscribing if you want to see more of this content in the future. Again, thanks for watching. Also, shout out to Scrufayce and his stream. Go ahead and check his socials. I'll have a link down below. Peace.